What's the deal with y'all boys, man? It's your boy Panic here. So I recently watched The Penguin for the first time, and I know I'm late, but I just never got around to watching it. But finally, after binge watching the entire season, I have to say it had one of the worst endings imaginable. And that inspired me to make this video about the worst endings in fiction. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So since I already talked about The Penguin, I might as well start with it, but major spoiler warnings ahead, bro. So The Penguin takes place, I think, about a week after the Batman ends. So Falcone's dead, the Riddler's arrested, and Crown Point is flooded. And the show opened up with Penguin killing Falcone's son. It was kinda crazy. Falcone's son disrespected Oz, and Oz just snapped. But after walking Alberto down, Oz obviously has to clean up the crime scene. So after bagging up the body and trying to move it to his car, in a memorial to Jason Todd, I believe, Oz finds Vic. And after Oz forces Vic to help him with his crime, Oz is getting ready to kill Vic, but he ends up letting him go so Vic could work for him. And that kicks off the entire plot of The Penguin. And this show is basically about Oz's entire come up as the Penguin. And with Vic on his side, this show honestly makes you forget that Batman is supposed to be in the same city. And don't get me wrong, this iteration of Batman is definitely my favorite live action version. But the way Penguin comes up in the city honestly baffles me. Not only does he have an entire mob war, but he single-handedly betrays everybody that works with him, including Vic. And that brings us to the ending. After a long drawn-out battle with Sophia Falcone, Oz finally wins. And all Vic and Oz can do is just chill. But after one final conversation between the two, the Penguin just chokes him out until he died. Long live Vic, he did not deserve that at all. Now don't get me wrong, Vic had some moments in this show. Some moments that were just honestly head scratching and baffling. And to be honest, a part of me always knew the Penguin was gonna kill him for it. But I think the way he dies, especially by the only person he trusts at the moment, it kinda just broke me. Especially after we found out Vic's origins with the way he lost his family during the flood. And then the fact that Vic gave up his ticket to go to California with his girlfriend to help Oz just to get backdoored. That is unbelievable. But since I kinda expected Vic's death, the other ones on this list just hit way hard. And with the second entry on this list, we have Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Now, I could talk so much shit about this first season, and not even in a bad way. Like, in my opinion, Cyberpunk Edgerunners had one of the best, if not the best, one-season Netflix anime. And I know it's coming out with a second season, but it got an entirely new cast of characters, so you damn near can call this an entirely different show. But season 1 of Cyberpunk Edgerunners is something I would tell my kids about. Like, in my opinion, everything this series did was perfect. The relationship between David and his mom, the relationship between David and Maine, every relationship we followed from the main character and his supporting cast was just peak. And like I said, just because a show has a horrible ending, it doesn't mean the show was terrible. But to explain Edgerunners for the people who don't know, is a show that's based off of the game Cyberpunk 2077. But in Edgerunners, our protagonist is David Martinez, a pretty poor kid who gets bullied by the rich kids at his high school until he gets in a car crash with his mom and acquires a Sandevistan. Now after David goes out of his way to implement the Sandevistan into his spine, that's when I believe the show picks up. Like, one of my favorite scenes is David getting his get back on the kid that beat on him for no reason, and then telling his principal that he's not going back to school, and he drops out. And after he drops out, that's when he begins running with Maine's crew. And one by one, they all start dropping. Like, when I tell you this show does not give a fuck about killing off a main character that everyone loves, they will do that shit in a heartbeat. And the two deaths that affected me the most was David and Maine. Now, David gets killed off to end the show, so that's why the show makes the list. But Maine's death is the type of death that'll have you pausing the show and sitting there in silence. Now, Maine died to something we call cyberpsychosis. And cyberpsychosis is a thing where if you have too many Chrome upgrades, the Chrome's gonna fry your brain. And we watched that happen to Maine in real time. Not only did we watch Maine take on a suicide mission, but we also watched him kill his girlfriend, and he didn't even realize it. But getting back to the ending, something that makes the ending feel so wrong to me wasn't even the fact that everybody died. Like, I could have got over that. It was the fact that Kiwi ratted on the crew just for her to die as well. Like, not only did she cause David and Rebecca's death, but it was for absolutely nothing. So that's why I personally believe Cyberpunk deserves a spot on this list. But at least you can kill Adam Smasher in the game with Rebecca's shotgun, so I guess that makes up for it. I'm gonna allow my homie to talk about some honorable mentions, so Mike, take it away.
Yo, the only black one. And I'm gonna start off by talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon 2012 version. The show overall is peak, dude, agree. You know, it has some questionable shit in there, like Leo liking his sister, Donnie and Casey having a three-way thing with Rachel. But the ending was completely bullshit, bro. Like, fuck am I watching 124 episodes just for these niggas have a shitty ass ending? My nigga, everyone's dead. Rachel, Casey, all the humans, they're all wiped out by some fucking bomb, bro. You know what? It's cool though. All the mutants are here, but they all look fucked up. All fucked up. Like, god damn, yo. Donnie a goddamn robot. Mikey old as hell, looking like a chef. Old ass nigga. Raph don't look too bad, I ain't gonna lie. He look tough. But Leo, oh my god. Leo, what did they do to you, bro? Nigga, he like he did steroids, bro. You know what? I'm gonna stop ranting. Moving on, Panic.
So thank you to Mike for that part of the video. Make sure to check out his channel if you haven't already. But on to the third spot of this list. And I think if you haven't watched this show or read the webtoon, I don't think you will understand just how crazy this ending was, for the first season at least. But in Tower of God, we follow a character named Bon who starts climbing this tower that's damn near infinite. Now his reason for climbing this tower is because he's trying to find this girl that's damn near like his sister named Rachel. See, when Bon was younger, he had a traumatic brain injury that caused him to forget everything. And Rachel nursed him back to health and even gave him his name Bon. But one day she ended up just leaving to go to the tower to reach the star. That's all Bon knew. Now this man Bon went through trials and tribulations that all led up to the final episode of the season. And they're underwater, being protected by the others. Now if all of them just work together, they're all gonna reap the rewards from it. But last second, Rachel slimes out Bon. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, this scene caused absolute mayhem in my house when I first seen it. Me and my friends was watching this and one of them actually knew what was gonna happen. So he just let us get shocked, bro. Fuck you, Charles. Like honestly, this show caused so much emotional turmoil inside and outside of the show. It's unbelievable. And I think what makes this worse is the fact that it's later revealed that the tower was calling to Bon, not Rachel. So she just took bro's invite and then slimed him out for it for no reason. And then she goes on talking about how she hates Bon, and it's like Bon did nothing to you, bro. I do think the best reward from this is the switch up from season 1 Bon to season 2 Bon. But that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you turn on post notifications. I started streaming a lot more. Thank you for 800 subscribers. We're on the way to 1K. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.
Get right, get money, for life. If you talk down, heat me the sight. She so bad I might make her my wife. Babe, I know that I do you so wrong. But you treat me like everything right. Yeah, if I go broke, I'm whipping the white. Yeah, tell the little brother pull up a pipe. I think I'm in love with the dance. Cause the junkies, I swear I'm the answer. Promise bullets, they hurt more than